I'm excited to be here tonight with Barb and Eric Udren for our Faces of Temple Emanuel series. Barb and Eric, how are you this evening?
Good.
We're doing well for another Groundhog Day today.
That is exactly right, although this one was a little bit warmer than the last one.
Yes.
And this was really nice for us because we had something really to look forward to be with you, Rabbi. So that meant a lot to us. So thank you.
You honor me, and I'm excited to be with you in this virtual space. You know, keeping familiar and friendly faces front and center is so important right now. And I'm excited, while you've been members for a while and many members know you, this is a good way to fill in some of that gap. So can you start with that gap in our knowledge? In what neighborhood are you guys living?
So we live on Terrace Drive in the Terrace Hoodridge neighborhood, right up the hill and across Washington Road from the Galleria. We are right down the street from our friends Mel and Claire Batts, whom we just interviewed the other day, and wanted to wave from behind their window, but that didn't work.
If you wanted to get in and give them bunny ears, that would have been amazing. And I'll let you know when I might be talking to them again.
Oh, good.
They have a lot of well-deserved fame on the internet now. We wouldn't want to take away from that. We were so impressed with what they did. We enjoy it so much.
It is that not only the video that they created about being homebound, but also Mel has been such a wonderful presence in creating new music for a temple.
He's been doing that for all the years that we have been going, and we've loved what he's done, along with his other colleagues in various bands the temple has run. It lifts the service. It's one of our favorite parts of live services that we look forward to when we get back to those.
Hopefully soon, God willing.
Yeah. So we've lived here for 24 years, and it's just a really wonderful, friendly neighborhood. And I think we're just really lucky to be here and know that there are people around that we can always count on. So that's really important to us.
We've got the smallest empty nest house on a lovely street with lots of kids and families, and we enjoy that. We're happy to have that around us.
It's beautiful. So you mentioned empty nest house. What keeps you busy during the day? Or maybe I should ask a two-part question. What was keeping you busy prior to the world turning upside down? And what is keeping you busy right now?
I guess I'll start.
Okay.
So I continue to work. I'm an electrical engineer, and I work with electric utilities on control systems for the electric grid. It's fascinating work. A couple of examples of what I'm doing now is helping Brazil engineers introduce some new control technologies in their substations. Working a lot, and most of my work has been in California, where we're developing systems for integration of renewable generation. They have been up to 80% some days, renewable generation there, and also reducing the risk of fires from electrical power transmission and distribution systems. We've had great successes in that area. I've been able to do some real hands-on work. I do that from a home office, plus a lot of business travel. The home office routine, I've got down pat. And this feels like much more of the same, except there are many, many more meetings during the day than there ever were before. And I really miss the travel to California and other places that I would also get to do. But I'm thankful for the work and keep on doing it.
So I retired from the nursery school after being there for 19 years. And so I was like a little free bird. I could just go out, meet my friends for lunch. I sell Avon. I've sold Avon for 40 years. I'm still doing that. And, oh, your plug. So my life is very different now because I am high risk, and I've pretty much just been home and been quarantined, and I'm certainly not complaining, but that's something that I'm sure everybody is pretty sad about, and I'm trying not to be, because we have a lot in our lives, and good friends and temple and so many other things, and that's really important to us. So
we have many blessings, and we feel for all of those who are facing terrible challenges in their life, economic and personal, in these circumstances. We're thankful that we're actually doing well.
True. There are many who are facing really hard and difficult times economically, emotionally, but everyone is on a slightly different journey right now. And I'm not sure that there are many people, except for the hardcore introverts, who are really enjoying this particular time. It is,
Right.
every day is a different challenge, particularly if you spend too much time watching the news, which is something I know we have a little bit in common.
Tried to wean myself somewhat from that. You can't stay away from it.
So one thing I did want to say, and I think this will bring you a little giggle, is that I love to watch the Hallmark Channel because they always have a happy ending. And I think we're all looking for that. So that's my little goal for the night.
I'm pretty sure I've been subjected to every Christmas movie the Hallmark Channel has ever made. So perhaps when this is all over, you and Emily can get together and make that happen.
All right. That sounds good to me.
So what else, other than Hallmark movies, what else do the two of you do for fun?
Oh, well, I love Scrabble, so I have it on my phone. We don't play that much together, but I play with my sister, and she almost always beats me, but I still keep trying. So I do that. I try to connect with some old friends. That has been really nice. And you find out that, you know, people are just kind of having some difficulties. One friend that I called, her husband had been in a very bad bicycle accident. And so when you don't hear from friends, then you don't know what's going on in their lives. So, and I really like to go walking in the morning. Sometimes we do it together, but most times we do that by ourselves. But it gives me a really good feeling that I'm alive and I'm able to go out and walk and enjoy the environment and see people. And I really like that.
So for me, my interesting time leaves less for other things like that than I would like. As Barb said, we walk together sometimes, and sometimes we go on our own. I'll go far and fast to try and keep myself in shape, and it keeps me away from the refrigerator in these times. And I have hobbies of interest. Barb and I both are great lovers of music, and we're giant fans of the Pittsburgh Symphony and other musical groups in town, like the Pittsburgh New Music Ensemble. We are so sad and are so missing those activities and don't know when they're coming back, and stay in touch with our friends, many of the musicians and also people who work at the symphony. These are like racehorses who are locked in a barn and can't get out. Why do you get up and practice every day? It makes us, again, thankful for what we have and missing what we had. So I spend time in front of the stereo playing music that I love. I have a hobby of ham radio that I have had since I was a young teenager back in the 1960s, early 1960s, and still enjoy getting on with some of the new equipment and digital communication methods. I can routinely work stations all over the world, and it's a very interesting technical and personal undertaking as well. We do study groups. We have a Jewish book study group, and I enjoy the Torah study that we have on Shabbos, and the days are very full in that regard.
It sounds like it, and some wonderful pastimes. You know, I understand keeping up with your kids in two very different time zones is probably also a sacred and wonderful demand on time, but demand nonetheless to keeping track of their schedules as far apart perhaps as they could be on this planet. Tell me a little bit more about your family.
You go first with John. Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about John for a minute. Our son Jonathan is 44. He and his wife Dina, they live in Israel. We have 5 grandchildren, and we've been to Israel, I think, 13 times. We were supposed to go in April for our granddaughter's Ahavas Bat Mitzvah, but we couldn't do that, of course. But they had a Zoom Bat Mitzvah, which was absolutely phenomenal, and they must have had over 50 people. Dina has a very large family, and so her family got to come. We had a lot of family come from our side, and I just can't tell you how meaningful it was that we could all be there together, even though not to touch them, but it was just close enough that it was just the most wonderful celebration. And we were just so happy that that all really worked out. John has, his job is he is co-chairman of a program at Hebrew U for international students through Hillel. And he has been doing this for over 10 years. And it's like a job that was just made for him. It's like a hand to glove kind of thing. And he just really does a phenomenal job there. We've been able to go there and be involved in the program when we've been to Israel. And it's been really wonderful. And our daughter-in-law, Dina, is a teacher. She started teaching at a all-girls high school, and she will be going back for her second year. And she's the most wonderful daughter-in-law. She's so thoughtful, and she sends pictures and notes from the kids. She's even writing emails for them, and we think Sarah and Zahav are sending them, but I found out that's not true. So we're so lucky. She is just the most wonderful daughter-in-law. And
yeah, and let me brag about him for you for just a moment, having had the opportunity to learn with John myself. He was gracious enough to join us on a couple of different Zoom calls. He is an amazing and charismatic teacher of Torah, and you have a lot to be proud of.
And no surprise that I've enjoyed studying with him over the years too, although I'm probably a bit of a challenge for him. I ask all the tough questions. Yeah, they live about a half an hour north of Jerusalem, and we desperately miss seeing them face to face and don't know when that's going to happen. We're just thankful that they're doing well and everything is going fine for them as it is for us. So our daughter Jenna, she's on the other coast. They said, you go right, I'll go left. And they went as far as they could. So she is in Seattle, in the Central District, in the city, which I should add is walking distance from the Seattle campus of Temple de Hirsch Sinai. Rabbi Aaron, your alma mater, or what do we call it, your prior post. And I went there last time we visited Jenna, walked up the street and went to Torah study there in order to get a better feel for the place from which you came. She works in Seattle for the University of Washington Medical Center, and she's a program manager for a program that is helping pregnant women and mothers in Kenya get the help that they need for various situations in their lives so they can properly take care of their children. She had previously worked for the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Institute as a program manager helping to develop the AIDS vaccine, which has now been demonstrated. So we're very proud of her and impressed with her work. She's a person who always wanted to save the world, and she's out there doing it. It's quite an achievement that she has had and continues to have.
It is wonderful, and it's so neat that while they are far from the nest, they're doing amazing things to make this world better.
We miss her too and long to get on a plane, one of those Alaska Airlines flights that we enjoy so much, and go visit her. We hope it happens sometime before long.
yeah.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. So, and that is perhaps a great segue into my last question for you this evening. There's so much swirling in this world right now. And this last question is kind of a doozy, but I'm curious, what are those things you have you have an eye on right now? What are those causes or concerns that are giving you restless evenings as you think about the world in which we live?
Well, this is personal for me, but the whole idea of not being able to see our family, that has been the hardest part of the quarantine for me, because we haven't seen our grandchildren in 3 years, and they know us now, but I can't reach out, or Eric to reach out and give them a hug, and that part is really hard. And it's not only the kids, but John and Jenna and my sister. Yeah, that part is really difficult. You said about staying up at night. I think that you hear so many difficult stories, and I found myself to be very emotional now, because there's nothing that we can do for these people, and they have given so much, and I think we need to really salute them and just keep doing our best to follow the rules and to make sure that we, even in our small way, do something to help other people. And Eric and I tried to do that, and it brings us a lot of joy, and it brings joy to other people too.
For me, you made a reference, Rabbi, to what's going on in the news and how we are drawn or try to avoid it, as the case may be. And I'm very troubled by this every day. I know I'm not describing emotions that aren't felt by most of those who might be watching us here. And I pray for the time when, not that we will ever agree on everything, we never have, we never will, but that we have a constructive, civil way to negotiate our disagreements and get to a forward direction and not resort to attacking one another, and that we regain both our unity as a nation and our leadership role in the world. I deal with many people around the world. I was always proud to be an American, bringing what our nation has accomplished for the benefit of the rest of the world. Now I find myself feeling a little embarrassed, as if to say, I'm not part of that mess you see, and they ask about it. I look forward to the day when we no longer have that aura that we show to ourselves and the rest of the world, and I pray for it.
It is a lot of heavy thoughts, and indeed I hope it comes soon, Barb, as you're saying too, that we each have a role to play in making it happen, both in how we speak to one another and setting models to at least tidy up our corner of the world, even if we can't change politics on a national scene, but also, for the love of God, wear a mask. How have we allowed even public health to become politicized and victim to that ugly discourse? And so
things we cannot understand.
Right, but the ethics of personal responsibility ring true for both.
We just wanted to say one other thing. Eric and I both want to thank you and Emily and Jessica for all you are doing every day to bring us learning, having fun, just teaching and just being there to see someone that really is caring about our community. And it's just been overwhelming for us. And I just want you to know how much we all appreciate what you're doing. So thank you so much.
My own engagement with Jewish values and Jewish learning, which didn't really characterize much of my life, has been very valuable to me, especially as we've been going through the situation of recent months. And I've really gained so much from what you, Rabbi, and the others that Barb mentioned have done to bring us more of this and to increase my connection with our Jewish heritage, which, by the way, for me includes the nature of our faith, which in my book says that we take responsibility for what we do. We can never dispense it. We can't escape from it. We take it.
Amen.
For our lives.
Amen. You honor me. Thank you. And thank you for all that you do for Temple. You are a wonderful presence at so many of the different things, not only in the virtual space, but as we've said all along, God willing, when we get back in person, when it is safe to do so, I look forward to getting to see you at many different things there as well.
Thank you.
Temple Emanuel, as it is and as you are leading it, is a huge fixture in our lives here that makes our lives as good as they are. We're thankful.
Wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hang in there. It is so good to see you both now, and I look forward to the next time we get to talk.
So do we. Wow.
Have a good night.
Thanks.